computer. You're addicted to advertising this. I remember they put my mat by the door. Oh, all good. Okay. Well, thank you for joining this study in general, and of course for coming today. We are at the halfway point already, and we have some new faces, so welcome, and I'm happy you could be part of this. Today is dedicated to sleep, and during menopause and the transition from perimenopause to menopause and postmenopausal phase of life has a lot of sleep disturbances that can go with it. And when we don't sleep enough, they say it's sort of like driving drunk or driving impaired. If you have less than 5.5 to 6 hours of sleep, that's considered impaired. So how do we get the sleep, right? Some women take HRT and they do really well with it. Other women cannot take hormonal replacement therapy. And so there are natural alternatives, some of which include supplements like valerian, melatonin, magnesium, all the things. So whatever works for you is of course fantastic. And I really highly encourage you to kind of figure out your own body's chemistry and also to advocate for yourself when you're speaking with your doctor. And I don't know if anyone has had the experience of going to the doctor and saying, hey, I'm experiencing these things. And you get the, oh, yes, it's normal. I think there's a big difference between common and normal, right? So today we will get into some different ways that yoga can help you sleep. And then let me just check out my notes. Oh, there you go. So some of the things that not having enough sleep can lead to are brain fog. Anybody ever get that? Yeah. And it can also, of course, affect our moods. We can become a little bit short, a little bit snappy. And what happens when we don't have enough sleep and then our mood is disturbed, there's usually stress. And so there's a spike in cortisol. And so not only are we like, but the spike in cortisol actually leads to a greater redistribution of the fat pattern to the belly. Yay! So now we're sleepy, tired, and chubby. Not fun. So what can we do? Yoga has been shown to help, especially with sleep disturbances, as well as belly fat, which we'll get into a little bit more next week. But today it's a very, very chill practice. We'll move a little bit, we'll warm up a little bit, and get into your hips and stretch and do all the things. But really just, that's today's vibe, okay? Awesome. All right, so let me invite you to lay down on your back. You can begin in Shavasana. Feel free to use the pillow, blanket, bolster, whatever you have nearby if you'd like to. It can go under your legs, under your head, or if you prefer not to use anything, all good. Spread out, get comfy. There's plenty of room. So take up some space. Let's all do that. Take a great big breath in through your nose. Hold the breath for just a moment. Out through the mouth. Good. And as you spread out, allow your feet to fall into an open and comfortable position. Please do the same with the arms and the hands. So we're connecting to this first feeling of stillness. And it isn't that we need to impose stillness on the body. You don't have to force yourself to stay still, but just settle in so that the body feels really comfortable and completely supported by the floor beneath you. And so one of the themes that we brought in the first week was the idea of self-study. I'm going to ask you to revisit that here for just a moment and scan your body from head to toe. And just start to notice what feels good this morning, what is feeling really vibrant, energetic, and alive, and what might need a little bit of extra TLC today. And if there are any areas of the body that need a little extra attention, simply imagine that you could send your breath there. Let that soft, easy, rhythmic breath become like a balm or a salve for the nervous system. And so we have different ways of breathing for all of the activities in our lives. You have one way of breathing when you're laughing, another way of breathing when you're at the top of a roller coaster anticipating that big drop, and still another way of breathing when you are completely relaxed. Just try to turn in the direction of relaxation. And take the arms all the way overhead, please. Get as long as you can from your fingertips down to your tippy toes. If there's bolsters, feet, whatever nearby, feel free to just gently make some space. Interlace your fingers and spin your palms to the back of the room and get as long as you can from your fingertips down to your tiptoes. With the eyes closed, you can envision your spine like a ladder. And with each breath, let there be a little bit more space, pardon me, between the rungs of the ladder. And let's reach the arms all the way up and over to the right. And you can swing your feet in that direction as well. So your body's making sort of like a crescent moon shape. And if you need to modify in any way to take care of shoulder sensitivity, please do. Just breathe into this left side of the body. Down the left side of the waist, down the left arm, down the left thigh. One more time, scan this side of the body. What is the story of the left side of the body? And I'll just share with you, I'm right-handed, so the left hip always kind of remembers carrying babies on top of it so that the right hand could be free. What are the body memories that are stored on this side? And bring it back up to the center. Great big inhale, get long and tall again. And then exhale, swing those arms all the way over to the other side. The legs as well, whenever you're ready. And so one of my friends has a saying. She says the two sides of the body are like sisters, but not necessarily twins. So check in with this side of the body. How does this right side feel today? And as you start to find length and space down that right arm, down the right side of the waist and through the right thigh. Once again, notice any body memories that might start to arise. So we don't have to get lost in the story that the right side of the body is telling us, but just acknowledge it in the same way that you would acknowledge a dear friend reminding you of experiences that you've had together. And let's bring it back to the center. Let's grab your block. You're going to bend your knees and slide that block underneath your sacrum. So underneath that bony structure just below the waistband of your hands. And the block can be short and flat. Turn your palms towards the sky. Let's inhale the arms all the way up overhead. You're going to exhale through the mouth as you bring the hands down next to your hips. Very nice. 2 more times. Great big inhalation. And like you're steaming up a window or a mirror, hands come down next to your hips. 3 more times, please. Great big inhalation through the nose. Out through the mouth. And a couple more on your own. So finding the rhythm of the breath and letting the rhythm of the movement unite with the rhythm of the breath. It's like the breath is your dancing partner. Inhale. 1 more time out through the mouth. Good. And if it feels okay for you, reach underneath your body and flip this block so that it's 1 level taller. Wiggle your shoulder blades in slightly towards your spine and turn your palms to the sky. And so we have something in the body called opposing muscle groups. And all that means is that when one side of the body is contracting or firing, finding that muscular strength and power, the other side is elongating and stretching. So here, your lower back, your hamstrings, and the entire back of the body is awakening. There's some strength there, even though it's somewhat passive because of the block. And so you have the opportunity to find more length through the abdominal wall and more space across the chest and the collarbones. Two more deep breaths. Okay, lift your hips up nice and high. Slide the block out from underneath you. Keep your feet as they are, please. And now we're going to come into active bridges and begin to awaken the body just a little bit more. So lift your hips as high as you can comfortably, and then slowly tap your hips down to the earth. Please continue like this, all the way up and all the way down. Nice. So in the first few minutes of any practice, I always like to have a little bit of core activation so that any shape that you create is supported by that natural corset of musculature in your body, in the trunk, in the torso. So the belly, the low back, the obliques. Let's do 3 more, please. All the way up. And softly tap down. 2 more. Lifting. All the way down. And 1 more. This time when you lift your hips, maybe lift the corners of your mouth and bring it out down. You got it. You can roll to your side and come on up to seated. Crossing the legs in whatever way is most comfortable for you. Let's bring the hands to the heart space, bowing the head. And please take this opportunity to set a clear intention for your personal practice. Today we are working with the theme of deep rest. Rest in the body, rest in the mind. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up to the morning light. Exhale and imagine some of that light coming to the mind's eye and to the heart space. 2 more times. Great big inhalation. Fill up with whatever you need today. Exhale. Bringing it to your thoughts and to your emotions. 1 more time. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale. Beautiful. Come on forward to your hands and knees, please. The profile so you can see what I'm doing. Hands are shoulder width, knees are hips distance apart. Inhale, gaze to the sky, lift your tailbone. Exhale and round your spine like a Halloween cat. So lift your belly button. And a couple more times. So inhale, feel the stretch in the front of the body, the lower back activates. Exhale and round and feel the opposing muscles. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Very nice. Come back to a flat back, neutral spine. And please reach your right arm forward with the thumb pointed to the sky. Feel the front ribs moving in towards the midline. And extend your left leg behind you. Take your time. If you need to bring your foot down at any time, it's all good. We're not going to be here very long. It's a very mellow practice today. We just want to get a little bit of warmth in the body. One more great big inhale. Exhale, release, hands and knees. Left arm reaches forward. Feel the belly drawing in. Add the right leg when you're ready. Be aware that the outer left hip is moving in towards the midline so that you're not compensating there. And just kind of notice, what is the thought in your head right now? Remembering that you have the power to choose. One more great big inhalation. Get as long as you can from your fingertips to your tiptoes. Exhale, hands and knees. Inhale, gaze to the sky. One more time. Lift your tailbone. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift your hips. Drop your heels. In your first down dog, fidget, wiggle, move in any way that feels intuitive to your body. Nice. And let the heels get really heavy and allow gravity to draw the heels closer to the floor. Perhaps they even anchor down. Press your palms into the floor with a little bit more strength so that you can lengthen through the torso and lift the tailbone up and back. Let me just adjust your down dog for a moment. Come to your tiptoes, please. Stay on your tiptoes. Lift your hips, lift your butt, up and back, up and back, up and back, up and back. Keep that, then drop the heels. That's your down dog. Okay. One more great big breath. Very nice. Look back to your feet and walk your hands back into an easy forward fold. So you're walking your hands back to meet your feet today, a little different. And you can bring your fingertips to the opposite elbow, allowing your upper body to spill over your strong legs. Try to shift your body weight forward slightly so that you're more on the ball of the foot instead of the heel. If it feels good to sway a little bit side to side, please do. Just let the movement that arises be intuitive. So your inner teacher is guiding you. And then let's release the hands, and you're going to roll up like a rag doll for the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. When you get to the top, roll the shoulders away from the ears. Let's bring the hands to the heart center and just say good morning. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Hands can come to the outer shin or to the floor, you choose. Inhale, come up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana, it means half forward fold. Exhale, full Uttanasana, full forward fold. Rise with the inhalation, circle your arms, reach out, reach up. Palms can touch, hands come to Namaste. 2 more times. Inhale, stretch the front of the body. Exhale, easy forward fold, stretch the back of the body. Inhale, come up halfway, strengthening the lower back. Exhale and fold, releasing the lower back. Rise with the power of the inhalation. Feel those opposing muscle groups working together now. Hands to the heart. We'll do that one more time. If you're comfortable with the sequence, try it with your eyes closed. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Trust yourself. You know where the floor is. Hands to the floor or the outer shins. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, nose to your knees. Rise all the way up. Circle those arms. Reach out, reach up. Hands to the heart. Interlace your fingers, spin the palms skyward. Reach up and over to the right, please. Nice. So it's the same thing that you did in the very first minute or so of class when you were laying down. Take it up and over to the other side. And bring it back to the center. Inhale, back bend. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Lovely. Exhale, forward fold. Hands to the floor. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, step back to plank, top of a push-up. You decide if you stay in plank or if you'd like to modify with the knees on the floor. Both are correct. Chaturanga, elbows move straight back. Come onto your tummy today and rise into cobra, inhaling. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hips to the sky, heels pressed down. So the second time in down dog, or the third or the fourth, it's kind of like getting in a pool. The first one's like, whoa, what's happening? Each time it should feel more and more comfortable. Please bend your right knee a lot and press your left heel down. Find length through the left hamstring and calf. And switch sides. And both heels press down evenly. Rise to your tiptoes now. Stay on your tiptoes and bend your knees. Look forward to your hands. Step or jump. Feet point your hands. Inhale up halfway. Exhale and fold. Come all the way up. Circle the arms. Reach out, reach out. Hands to the heart. Good news. Everything from here on out will be on the floor. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Step back to plank or modified plank, you choose. Chaturanga. Cobra or up dog. Downward facing dog. Child's pose. Separate your knees, bring your hips back to your heels. Feel the stretch through the lower back and through the arms. Nice. Please walk your hands over to the right and enjoy the stretch down the left side of the body. And go ahead and change sides. Back to the center. And lift your upper body, please. And grab your block and have a seat on your block. Let's bring the knees towards one another and allow the heels to come to the outer hips. If your knees don't like this, feel free to sit on your bottom. So a lot of what we've been doing this morning has a right and a left side, and the yogis talk a lot about balancing the right and the left hemispheres of the brain. So we're going to learn to do that with pranayama, with a kind of breathing called nadi shodhana. You're going to have your thumb and your ring finger at your nostrils. And let me just show you what it looks like first. You inhale through the right, blocking off the left. You switch, you exhale through the left. Then you inhale through the left. Then you block off the left and you exhale through the right. Okay, join me when you're ready. Sorry, I should be mirroring you. It's also totally normal to blow your nose during this, so I'll bring some Kleenex if you need it, okay? So let's inhale through the right. Block it off, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Block it off, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Block it off, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Block it off, exhale through the right. We have 3 more rounds. Inhale through the right. Block it off, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Block it off, exhale through the right. Final time. Inhale through the right. Block it off, exhale through the left. And then release your hand. So it balances the 2 sides of the brain. It also lets you know if you're breathing more with one side. Yeah. You can remove the block, have a seat. And let's come into what's called fire log pose. You might know it as double pigeon. So you stack your legs on top of one another like so. If your legs don't do this, it's all good. Just sit with the legs crossed. But remember which leg is in front or on top. I would recommend a block and or bolster. You inhale to find length, exhale and fold. I like to put my forehead on the block or bolster and then let the palms face the sky. Try to elongate the spine a little bit more. That might require turning the block a little taller. And let gravity draw your hips down towards the floor. Be on the side for 1 full minute. But it is also a forward fold. And forward folds take us into our own thoughts, into our own consciousness. And again, just a gentle reminder that you have the power to choose the thought in your head right here, right now. So restorative practices are hallmarked by having poses that last at least a minute to 2. And when you get into yin yoga, that can be 5 to 10 minutes in a particular shape. So we'll play around with the duration for the second half of class. And some of these poses will feel like they're kind of long because they are, but it also gives your nervous system an opportunity to just drop in and let go. One more deep breath here. And gently come up. Try to stay in that meditative state and simply bring the other leg on top or in front. So whichever leg is on top or in front, that corresponding hip, that corresponding glute will get more of a release. Inhale to create length. Exhale and fold. Good. So it's up to you if the hands are turned up as if to receive the breath, or if the palms are turned down for more grounding. So last week we talked about hot flashes and night sweats. And night sweats specifically can lead to sleep disturbances. So we learned the cooling breath, Sitali Pranayam. If at any time you'd like to come back to that Sitali, that's the style of breathing in which you hold the sides of your tongue and you create a little straw and then you sip in the cool air. You've got a blanket behind these and blanket on top. Yeah, just so you have something soft to put your forehead on. And then you're welcome. That looks so much more comfy. Yeah. Yeah, if there is ever a shape that doesn't feel right to your body, please let me know. And then just kind of notice what's going on in the back of your body. Is there anywhere you can create a little bit more length or space? Maybe it's in the lower back. Maybe it's in the middle back. Maybe it's imagining taking the weight of the world off your shoulders. Says, demonstrates rather, that yoga helps with sleep stability. So it's the ability to stay asleep. And part of the reason for that is because we drop into that parasympathetic nervous system response where we just feel a lot more chilled out. So you go to bed tonight, maybe just kind of notice your environment as well. And now there's a whole separate science around sleep hygiene. And so it's things like turning off the screen an hour or two before bed, or at least dimming your screens. Maybe keeping the room just a little bit cooler so that you sleep comfortably, especially for those of you who have vasomotor symptoms. Or maybe a little soft music or lavender. And slowly come up. And you can lay down on your back. If you'd like to put a pillow or bolster under your head, please do. Let's come into happy baby. So holding on to the outer arches of the feet. I like to rock and roll a little bit side to side here to massage the lower back. Okay, this one has kind of a long explanation. For those of you who practice with me regularly, I'm going to ask you to just be on hand to demonstrate in your corresponding row. So let's put the feet flat on the floor. The right outer ankle comes to the left outer thigh, and then both knees swivel over to the right. Sound like Twister. Let's bring the arms out into a 90-degree angle, so your arms are like goalposts. If you need to modify that for any shoulder sensitivity, please do. Feel free to close your eyes and let go. So this particular twist brings in the element of internal rotation. Your left hip is internally rotated. And for women especially, sometimes internal rotation is not as natural because of the shape of the pelvis and the wider pelvic outlet. It's usually more comfortable for us to turn out. We also need to make sure that those internal rotators are flexible. And I just like the metaphor of it turning inward. Let your consciousness turn inward here. Then once again, scan your body from head to toe. Are there any places that still need a little extra TLC and breath? Just breathe in the way that feels most natural to you. If Ujjayi Pranayama, if that diaphragmatic breathing that we learned in the first class serves, it sounds like a little whispery sound in the back of the throat, like the ocean's waves. Settings on the side. Just as a little footnote, this kind of practice is also really fantastic when you've been really stressed or been on a long flight. All right, bring it back to the center. We can bring that right foot down to the floor. Let's change sides. Left outer ankle comes to the right outer thigh. Both legs swivel to the left. Arms can reach out like a goalpost. So if there's been anything that's weighing on you, anything that has been weighing on your mind or your heart, maybe just softly start to release it a little bit. When we're very stressed or ruminating a lot about a problem, it's very common for us to experience or carry that stress in three places in the body, just as human beings. The most common is in the hips, which you're stretching right here, right now. The second is in the shoulders, which you're also stretching. That tends to be related more to mental and emotional stress. And the third is in the jaw. See if you can leave a little bit of space between the top and the bottom teeth. And maybe let the tip of your tongue float up towards the roof of your mouth. And notice how that immediately relaxes those large muscles in the side of the neck. Down this side for maybe another 30 seconds or so. And you drop in deeper. Maybe it's physically, maybe it's mentally, in terms of going deeper into your own consciousness. Bring the legs back to the center. Bring the soles of your feet together, please, and allow your knees to fall open like a butterfly's wings. And I leave it up to you where the arms are. If the arms feel good, naturally outstretched, please enjoy that. If your hands are called to touch some part of your tummy or your chest, it's all good. And so as we move into this butterfly-like shape, we make the easy transition, the transformation from moving a little bit through all these different shapes and positions and postures into a deeper place of stillness. So there's different qualities and different types of rest. If you've ever just passed out from being so tired, it feels very different from laying down and relaxing each part of the body, one part at a time. And so how do we get to that point where we can fall asleep and feel really, really rested afterwards? The yogis have been working with a technique for centuries called yoga nidra, which is parallel to what we call progressive relaxation here in the West. And so in just a few moments, we'll move into that particular practice. And when we do, if there's anything that you need, if you need a sip of water, if you need your bolster, your pillow to get extra comfy, please, please, please take care of yourself. And pamper yourself in the same way that you would your own child when they're going to bed. Move into Shavasana. Again, please grab anything and everything that you like. Pillows. And as you spread out on the floor, if there's any last little wiggles or fidgets that your body needs to get out, go for it. Easily drop into stillness. Mind's eye, you can envision a spotlight, and that spotlight is on your feet. Feel all of the muscles in your feet, in your toes, and the arches of your feet, and the heels. The entire structure of the foot gets really, really soft and relaxed. So all those miles that we put on our feet every day, in this moment, we have the opportunity to relax and restore and give back to those muscles that work with each step that we take. And in your mind's eye, ever so gently, that spotlight just starts to move up a little bit more towards the ankles and the lower leg. So in the front of the lower leg, in the shin, there's muscles called anterior tibialis. And in the back, of course, the calves, gastrocnemius and soleus. These muscles are designed by Mother Nature to support us in every step that we take in this life. They're built for endurance, but they can also benefit from rest and restoration. So feel these muscles relaxing, releasing, letting go, especially those of you who are involved in any kind of repetitive forward motion, whether it's walking, cycling, running. Sense, see, and feel the muscles, letting go of any knots, adhesions. That big, beautiful spotlight starts to shine up a little bit higher to the knees and to the larger muscles of the thighs, your quads, your hamstrings, inner and outer thigh. These are some of the largest, most powerful muscles that we have in our bodies. So once again, see if you can allow the floor to do the work for you, holding the weight of your thighs. And around each of those muscles, you also have connective tissue, fascia. When you use a bone roller or a theragun or any kind of percussive device, it helps to work out the adhesions in the fascia. Imagine that you could do that right here, right now, by simply relaxing 10 times deeper, 100 times deeper, 1,000 times deeper, and truly releasing tension in your thighs. The spotlight starts to move up a little bit, taking your attention to your hips, your pelvis, your lower belly, your lower back. I was saying in the beginning of this practice that sleep disturbances can affect many different systems. So our emotional system, our mental capacity. It can also affect the urogenital system, so meaning sometimes we have to pee in the middle of the night, sometimes more often during the perimenopausal transition. And I learned recently that if you have a small cup of water, I know it sounds counterintuitive. It's like, no, wait, aren't I gonna have to pee more? No, if you have a small, like half a cup of water, it can actually help. And that's because the body can become dehydrated in the middle of the night, and that can wake you up as well. And or when you go to pee, it's too acidic. So feel the muscles of the pelvic floor, feel the perineum just soften and relax. Let that feeling of softness spread across the back of the hips. So the glutes, they have three parts. Gluteus maximus, it's the larger part of your bottom. Medius, it's the part that wraps around the side of the hip. And minimus, it's, excuse me, it's the top of the part of the hip near the panty line. Let all of that relax. Soften through your lower belly and let the digestive system just do what it does. Rest and digest, rest and digest. There's that spotlight again, gently moving up to the muscles between your ribs. They're called intercostals. You have them in the front and in the back. They help you with each of those stretches that I asked you to do that went sideways, all that lateral flexion. They also help you to breathe. Let those muscles between your ribs have this time to restore. So that the breath is so soft and easy. It's as though you're on your third or fourth day of vacation, when you've forgotten about checking all of the different apps. Now the spotlight moves up to the chest and the upper back. Feel your shoulder blades supported by the floor beneath you, and feel those larger muscles across the middle back and the upper back, your postural muscles spread out. Let's do the same with the pecs, those large fan-shaped muscles behind the breasts. Let those spread out. Muscles in the middle and upper back are responsible for pulling, things like rowing, scapular retraction. The muscles in front are responsible for pushing, things like chest press, protraction. All of those muscles relax and release. Now the spotlight moves to your arms. So there's a feeling of softness that travels from your shoulders down the biceps, the triceps, the forearms, into your hands and through each fingertip. And if you've been working with any kind of injury or sensitivity in the shoulder, especially, which is really common, again, during this phase of life, things like frozen shoulder, even rotator cuff tears, the incidence can increase during the perimenopausal transition. Just imagine a little bit more breath, love, light, oxygen, prana moving into your shoulder joints. The spotlight moves to the neck and the throat. Again, if you separate your teeth and put the tip of your tongue on the roof of your mouth, you release those large muscles on the side of the neck called sternocleidomastoid. That's what pops out when someone's really angry or lifting super heavy weight. Let all of that soften. Spotlight gently moves up to your beautiful and relaxed face. Soften across the forehead, the cheeks, the jaw, even the mouth. And maybe you remember the last time that someone else washed your hair, if you went for a haircut or something, and there's that feeling when they're massaging your scalp. And just letting go of the tension in the head. Try to connect to that right here, right now. Spotlight through each of the muscular and skeletal structures, letting everything soften. And see if we can do that in the mind. So again, if there are any thoughts that have been just kind of repetitive or nagging, I'm going to ask you to lift your consciousness higher so that you have sort of like 1,000-mile perspective. You can see it from so far away. It looks so small. It's like, oh yeah, I know exactly what to do because I got some perspective on it. From inside, gently bringing your awareness into your body. We're going to stay on your side for another minute. Please roll to the side that's most natural for you. So we just moved through that progressive relaxation or yoga nidra. A very sweet way to exit it is in the shape that you are in now, in the fetal position. Just remembering that we all started life in this position. Maybe in the same way that your body took in nourishment from your mother when you were inside of her tummy, just taking a little bit more nourishment from Mother Nature, Mother Earth, whatever resonates with you. We live in such a beautiful place. What a privilege to live on this land. So maybe just taking in some of that energy. And please come up to seated. In seated meditation for one last minute. Your mind begins to wander, just give it one word, one thought to keep rolling over and over through the wheels of your mind. I've been working a lot again with the word peace, peace. And if it were possible to take a photograph of a feeling, take a photograph of the feeling that you have right now and put it on a shelf in your mind. And the next time that you wake up in the middle of the night and you go to reach for your phone, I'd like to invite you to instead keep your eyes closed and reconnect to this feeling of peace. And if you would like to go through the progressive relaxation, see if that works, so that you have more tools. We bring the hands to the heart, bowing the head. The light in me recognizes and bows to the beautiful light in each of you. Thank you so much for sharing your practice. Namaste. Namaste. Sleep time yoga. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
There's still 2 more weeks, right?